Good evening, everybody. Welcome to our PM Actual News. Today is Thursday, December 12th. Just for, to check on the date and if we're all aware of it. Hey, guys, welcome. Hey, Roberta, good evening. Waiting for broadcast to begin. Hello, everyone, if anyone also is waiting. Hello, Daisy Lou. Good evening. Now, this is a bit earlier than we used to, so I'm totally, not taking this for granted that you could tune in a bit earlier to the broadcast. Usually it's about half hour or even an hour later. So I do appreciate your flexibility and you being here, because you adding your voice to the conversation really matters. So please don't ever forget that I truly appreciate you. Hey, Rosie Marie, good evening. How was your day, guys? I saw you in the morning. How is it going? Are you ready for the holidays? Are you ready for, I don't know what you're getting ready for, but anyway, interesting day today in terms of news. I have a lot of updates in terms of internal politics, but also global situation, also some interesting moves by Trump. Let's dive into it. Hey, Rosie. Okay, guys, you're saying hi to each other. How sweet is that? Okay. So let me pull up my notes here. And by the way, it looks like I'm giving a side eye. That's because my notes are here on the same screen, but just to the left from the center. Anyway, so first things first. And why I want to read this out, because again, I'm trying to inform you about something that definitely is not discussed in mainstream media, because it's not really clickbaity, but it's really important for us to know where we are now, and especially later where we were recently, right? So U.S. government support for global health security. Now, Biden-Harris administration issued a fact check on the progress under their administration when it comes to security. And this is very important, because we're told that, we have caravans at the borders, we have the fentanyl, pouring into the country and all that kind of nonsense, right? And so let's dive into the facts, and I have key points, right? So first is the Biden-Harris administration has committed over $3 billion to strengthen global health security since 2020, improving countries' abilities to prevent, detect, and respond to biological threats. $3 billion. Next, the US has expanded partnerships with more than 100 countries, offering support to health systems and outbreak response. Mpox, that happened recently as well. So then, US partnerships with countries like Democratic Republic of Congo and Nigeria have demonstrated success in limiting the spread of diseases and building sustainable local health security infrastructures. Next, on reducing emerging biological threats, right? And of course, this administration came in at the height of COVID, where hundreds of thousands of people died in the United States alone. So the US has worked with over 100 countries to stop threats at their source, ensuring countries have the capacity to handle potential outbreaks, which is huge. Because remember, COVID never started in the United States, it started in China, right? So the focus has been on country ownership, empowering nations to lead their health security efforts with US support for technical areas such as zoonotic diseases, surveillance, and biosafety. Then, about the biosecurity, the administration has enhanced biosafety measures to prevent accidents or misuse of biological research. The U.S. has supported global initiatives to promote responsible research practices and stronger laboratory protocols. Again, everything what it seems like this administration learned the lessons from the COVID situation and applied them. So, the US has actively engaged in multilateral negotiations to improve global health security frameworks, including amending the international health regulations and negotiating a pandemic agreement through WHO. World Health Organization. The US is also fostering international coordination through groups like G7, G20, and Quad, advancing health security efforts and contributing to vaccine distributions globally. Now, how far that will go with RFK Jr. at the helm of it, we'll see. The administration has prioritized expanding access to vaccines, treatments, and diagnostic tests worldwide, with a focus on sustainable global manufacturing and supply chain capacity. Investments in mRNA, like Moderna, whatever, like Moderna and our vaccines, technology and vaccines like Genios have positioned the U.S. as a global leader in pandemic preparation, saving millions of lives and contributing to development of vaccines for diseases like mpox. The U.S. has supported the creation of Pandemic Fund to help low and middle income countries prepare for future health threats, with an additional $6 billion mobilized for pandemic preparation. Efforts include ensuring financial mechanisms are in place to enable quick responses to health emergencies, such as through the G7 Surge Financing Initiative and Day Zero Financing Facility. So, my only comment is why we did not talk about it before the election. Come on, Biden's administration and your PR folks and your advisors and your speakers, why we haven't talked about it. You've done all of this in silence, behind the scenes, and it's admirable, but it cost you. We need to know this. At least now, people need to know what we're going to lose very soon. And it's obvious that we will. Let's call a thing a thing. Bonsoir, Lisa's here. Good evening. Good evening. Holy shit. I can't believe I caught you. Yes. Yes. No, I was like a half hour early. Everybody says hi, Lisa. Daisy Lou says, yes, please protect us and animals from the bird flu. Indeed, and they are. But then we'll see what will happen on January 20th. Now, if you wondered about those mysterious drones, here's an update, which is like nothing burger. Dozens of mysterious drones have appeared in the skies over New Jersey in recent weeks, perplexing state and federal officials and agitating residents. The drones, which residents have reported seeing over military installations, power lines, and suburban neighborhoods, appear eerily similar to a fleet that swarmed sensitive national security sites in Virginia's eastern shoreline 1 year ago. Now, if you are not in this area and you wonder how the heck does this look like and why do we worry about it, take a look. So drones are like SUV size of a drone. So what Pentagon said essentially, this is not ours. FBI said we have no idea what this is. And then National Security Council's spokesperson or communication director, John Kirby, said the following today at the beginning of the briefing at the White House. Take a look.
The drone sightings pose a national security or a public safety threat, or have a foreign nexus. The Department of Homeland Security and the FBI are investigating these sightings, and they're working closely with state and local law enforcement to provide resources using numerous detection methods to better understand their origin. Using very sophisticated electronic detection technologies provided by federal authorities, we have not been able to, and neither have state or local law enforcement authorities, corroborate any of the reported visual sightings. To the contrary, upon review of available imagery, it appears that many of the reported sightings are actually manned aircraft that are being operated lawfully. The United States Coast Guard is providing support to the state of New Jersey and has confirmed that there is no evidence of any foreign-based involvement from coastal vessels. And importantly, there are no reported or confirmed drone sightings in any restricted airspace. Now, that said, we certainly take seriously the threat that can be posed by unmanned aircraft systems, which is why law enforcement and other agencies continue to support New Jersey and investigate the reports, even though they have uncovered no malicious activity or intent at this particular stage. While there is no known malicious activity occurring, The reported sightings there do, however, highlight a gap in authorities. And so we urge Congress to pass important legislation that will extend and expand existing counter-drone authorities so that we are better prepared to identify and mitigate any potential threats to airports or other critical infrastructure, and so that state and local authorities are provided all the tools that they need to respond to such threats as well.
And Rosie Marie, I agree with you. It's either a private company doing some testing, which we should know about, maybe SpaceX doing something, maybe, I don't know, Starlink, or foreign actors. From what I mean, it's certainly a cover up. It does smell like it. It does sound like it too. So let's not, insult our own intelligence here. And it's sort of like, oh, it's a no threat. Stop asking, right? And so reporters actually did do justice here, and they kept asking and asking. He's like, listen, what do you want me to say? Don't worry about it. But you know how loud those things are? Very loud. We had it in New York. So what I guesstimate is they don't see foreign actors at play, but it is somebody from within the United States testing something, whether it's our Space Force, whether it is a private entity, but certainly the government knows what's going on. It's just they hope and probably know it's not going to fall on our head or start shooting bombs or whatever. But, it's certainly worrisome, and we deserve to know if something the size of an SUV is flying over your head and your house while you're asleep. We kind of feel some type of way about it, because Shaheds are also drones. Then they start throwing something. So, you'd think the drones would be more stealth-like. Yeah, but anyway, I would love to have answers. As much as I would love to have answers about July 13th, what went down at that assassination attempt, and what was caused by it. I'm not saying nothing happened. We saw, but I would love to have details. So, speaking of Trump, he has been named Times Person of the Year. I spoke about it this morning. I showed you him ringing the bell at New York Stock Exchange. Here's his Time cover. But Time Magazine put this on their homepage, which is a very interesting picture. Now, the latest development here is that, first, by the way, it's not his first cover of Time. He has been Person of the Year in 2016. Many people have been nominated twice or have been holding this title twice. Only Franklin Roosevelt has achieved it 3 times. Times has also, featured folks like Hitler and Khrushchev and Stalin on their covers. So probably they're not, the only thing I can comment on that is they are really going by influence, good, bad, or the ugly. So yes, in 1939, they declared Hitler Person of the Year. And yeah, he did dominate that year. Certainly. 1942, they declared Stalin Person of the Year. And yes, Stalin did dominate that year. And that's probably where we at here. Now, in a weird move, President-elect Trump has invited Chinese President Xi Jinping to his inauguration. And I posted about it, and you folks asked, is it normal? Is it not? It's not normal. It's not normal to invite foreign leaders to your inauguration. What is normal is inviting foreign leaders to your coronation. And that we have seen in Great Britain, in the Netherlands, in Spain, wherever we have still royalty. So this is where I'm getting a bit confused. Now, this is what John Kirby said to that notion in the briefing.
Reaction to President Xi being invited to President-elect Trump's inauguration next month?
Well, it's going to be up to President-elect Trump to decide who's going to sit with him there at the inauguration, who's going to be there. We've worked really hard on this most consequential of bilateral relationships. The president met with Xi Jinping a number of times, including recently, and as you know, at APEC. And we believe that as we get ready to turn over things to the Trump team, that we're turning over a U.S.-China relationship that is in better shape than the one we found it in. That doesn't mean that we don't have disagreements. We do, and we will, and I'm sure they will too. But we're working hard on this relationship, and we'll do that right to the end.
Did President Biden invite any foreign leaders to his inauguration in 2021?
Oh, geez, I don't know. I'd have to take that question.
Kudos to Kirby for flipping and reverse it. You know, if it's work, flip it and make it your achievement. Oh, well, it's a stretch. It's like a split. You need to warm up before the briefing to do this type of stretch here. Trump is inviting Xi Jinping to his inauguration. It's our achievement. We did a whole thing to have good relationship with China. No, Trump is doing a coronation style. I would bet that he got this idea, or Elon Musk got this idea during Notre Dame Cathedral reopening. Oh my God, look at these people. They showed up for this goddamn cathedral. They should come up for me when I hold my hand on the Bible and I say my thing, and I will have my angry speech. So it's anyway. I don't think Trump is a dictator. I don't think he's a king. I think he is copying dictators and kings because he's highly impressed and he wants to be part of that crew. The whole cabinet, Trump cabinet, is very diverse, not in a good way. Pro-China. Somebody's very against China. Somebody's really pro-Russia. Somebody's really neutral and conservative. So everybody who paid their dues got the job. Now, they're all motivated by one goal, to make it to the White House. Then when they are at the White House, everybody will have a different interest. So is he going to go full body karate on everybody? Yeah, maybe. But inviting Xi Jinping, meanwhile dangling tariffs, is confusing. I don't think Xi Jinping will come. But you're doing tariffs, but then, you know, who's going to benefit from this is Musk. Musk today has broken records. Now he has $400 billion, like nobody before. Now guesstimate how much from this 400 million is because of SpaceX, federally funded SpaceX. 375. So didn't we create this type of billionaire? We did. Ultimately, we did. Because of our silence, because of our acceptance, because of other side fandom and cult. We did. We paid for this. Now we're going to pay differently. So now I can tell you what the deal is with Xi Jinping. Trump has stated today, and see, they make mistakes. And again, I'm not, we, they, them. No, I'm not doing that. But what I can say, the way I told, just began with the Biden administration, why didn't you guys talk about what you have achieved? Same thing here with MAGA. They are messing up a lot. They gave Biden immunity too early, right? Hoping that Biden will not use it. Their hopes now are proven to be true. They leaked Project 2025. That was a mess up. Now here, another mess up. First in the morning, they put out this sort of rumor that Trump says that for us protecting Taiwan is too expensive and we should not be doing it. We should just sell the rights to Taiwan. First of all, we don't have rights to Taiwan. It's our ally. Also, Taiwan has bought $3 billion worth of military aid from us. But they put this notion. And then hours later, they invite Xi Jinping to inauguration. I'll let you connect the dots. Rosie Marie says, how much you want to bet he gets his military parade after he's in office? Probably. Well, probably going to be a drone parade at this time. Sarah says Elon has that on paper. It seems like that Tesla is going to declare bankruptcy, and that's Tesla wants to and plans to open a factory in Russia, and they're heavily related or relying on China. So this is what will prohibit Trump to mess a lot with China as long as Elon is by his side. We'll see. How this develops. Now, other story. The U.S. Department of Treasury's Office of Cybersecurity and Critical Infrastructure Protection, the OCCIP, has issued an advisory to help consumers avoid falling victim to cyber and online scams this holiday season. With fraud and cybercrime escalating since the onset of COVID pandemic, the department stresses the importance of staying vigilant and proactive. Scams, especially during the holiday shopping season, cost consumers billions of dollars each year. Deputy Assistant Secretary of OCCIP, Todd Conklin, urges consumers to exercise caution when responding to unsolicited messages, particularly on platforms like LinkedIn, TikTok, and Instagram. He also emphasizes avoiding rushed decisions when making purchases or payments, noting that taking the time to think, research, and consult with trusted individuals can significantly reduce the risk of fraud. OCCIP's advisory offers several practical tips to avoid scams and fraud, along with guidance for victims on how to mitigate damages. As the holiday season approaches, consumers are encouraged to stay alert to the increasing threat of online cyber scams. So if you got this text message, oh, the USPS could not deliver that package, click here. And you're like, did I send the package? Did I, I probably did not expect a package, but let me click. Don't click. That's scam. And my family every day said, well, every time they get the message, always ask, did we order something? No, we did not. So also what's important to, note here is that, I've heard a lot of stories on TikTok when people start purchasing something, and when you leave your information, like you save your payment information within the TikTok app, then you start getting a bunch of different messages. So probably that's what they're hinting on. Next is Blinken, our Secretary of State, Blinken. His Middle East diplomacy focuses on Syria's future, chemical weapons, and counterterrorism. So U.S. Secretary of State Blinken arrived in Jordan today and will proceed to Turkey as part of a diplomatic advocate for a more accountable and representative Syrian government following President Bashar al-Assad's ouster. This comes as UN Special Envoy emphasizes the importance of an inclusive political transition to avoid further civil conflict. Blinken also highlighted efforts to preserve gains against the Islamic State and reiterated U.S. goals for Syria to be free of chemical weapons. Despite President-elect Trump's recent dismissal of Syria as not our fight, the U.S. remains committed to securing and eliminating chemical weapons. Meanwhile, Syrian rebel leader Abu Muhammad al-Jolani reported efforts to identify and secure potential chemical weapon sites. Now, meanwhile, Israel has bombed the main factory of chemical weapons. So that was a big baboom. Did you see the video? I'll pull it up. I'll put it in your newsletter. The Pentagon stressed the need for tangible actions to match diplomatic rhetoric. So also in Syria, they have been finding so many people who were literally not just imprisoned, but rather enslaved, underground in bunkers, kids born there. There was a gentleman, a Syrian gentleman who exited. He's like, I haven't seen sunlight in 12 years. And so he starts crying, and it's just horrible. And CNN's reporters, the kudos to them. They are heroes. I mean, they document everything about it. And so people are still finding and releasing prisoners from Syria's jails. Also, there's a bunch of photos of different dead bodies, pretty much, for people to see and, unfortunately recognize their loved ones. Now, CNN captured on video the moment when one man was released, which happened to be an American. And so this guy, he travels a lot. He sort of likes camping and all that kind of stuff. He was in Hungary. And then somebody told him it's a great idea to go to Lebanon. He went to Lebanon, and then he somehow by foot crossed into Syria, where he was imprisoned. Take a look how he was found.
Discovery in Syria. An American man apparently found alive, allegedly set free from Assad captivity. This video shows the man lying under a cover as a man explains how he was found in the early hours of this morning. In this second video, he identifies himself as Travis and says he's from the United States. The US believes the man could be Travis Pete Timmerman, an American who went missing from Hungary earlier this year. We find the room. The men who saved him show me where he was brought to. This simple space with a mattress in the corner.
So we're still trying to find an American journalist who has been in prison for over 12 years. John Kirby at the White House briefing said today that they don't know. They have no reason to believe that he is not alive, nor they have a reason to believe he is alive. But again, they try to search, and once they have anything, any information, they will release it. So on Ukraine, former foreign minister of Lithuania, who resigned today, claiming he has bigger plans, but he's a young fella, very bright. He talked about Ukraine's victory being only realistic if we let Putin define. Ukraine's victory is only unrealistic if we let Putin define reality. We should stop doing that. Take a look at his speech here.
Clearly, I mean, the reality does pose questions. But my point is that giving in to the subjective reality that is formulated by Russians actually is giving in to Russians. If Russian or Putin's agenda has not changed, if he's able to continue with his buildup, if he's able to continue with his goals, at least in his mind, I don't think that any answer would suffice. Paper security guarantees to Ukraine while Russians are preparing for the third attack. How do you convince businesses to return? How do you convince people to return? Basically, Putin will then hold whole country hostage forever. Yeah. Imagine South Ossetia or Abkhazia, lost parts of the country. Transnistria, nothing is happening there. This is what Putin wants. Just non-country. This is what he wants, a gray zone, a completely destroyed country from a statehood perspective. So unfortunately, I don't see any other way in order to avoid this scenario than actually to fight this off. And I'm sorry that it sounds far off from the current day reality, but then we must build this new reality, because otherwise all of us will be in danger for a perceivable future. This is where my thought is coming from.
Thank you.
And certainly very bright young gentleman. But he's right. And here's something that I hate to report to you, but this is confirmed from Ukrainian sources. Trump and Putin have agreed on the territory that Putin will gain and on demilitarized territory in Ukraine. For that demilitarized territory, they're planning to put EU forces there, which certainly exactly, and that's why I showed you this video, exactly what, let's call him by the name, the former foreign minister of Lithuania, what he said, that will create pretty much a no country. Demilitarized zone that is protected, but also controlled fully by foreign forces. And I'm going to tell you which forces, which will raise your eyebrows. This will not allow people to return. And if return, they live in this sort of type of cage, golden cage, if you will. Businesses will not return. It is a dead zone. So it's a Russian zone, a dead zone, and something that remains to be Ukraine with absolutely no ability to join NATO or EU or anything. And here's the news, official now. The leaders of France and Poland are meeting today to discuss the potential deployment of European troops to Ukraine in the event of a ceasefire. Meanwhile, the leaders of Hungary and Turkey are holding talks on prospects for a peace deal. Hungarian Prime Minister Orbán met with Donald Trump earlier this week and also held separate discussions with Putin. Orbán posted on social media yesterday that Ukrainian President Zelensky has rejected a proposal for a Christmas ceasefire and a prisoner swap. Certainly, Christmas ceasefire, so Russia will violate it first. That will just mean that Ukraine will caught, with their pants down. Nobody's believing that. but the news that Trump did agree already with, with Putin, certainly that's what I joked about it yesterday, where Orban called Putin from Mar-a-Lago, which is a fact, for an hour. And I said, did Orban even speak in this hour? Because that's just, it's quacks like a duck is a duck. So very somber, sad atmosphere in Ukraine. Nobody is, at least to my knowledge, many are not delusional anymore about Trump, saying, oh my God, he's our Lord and Savior. He's so much better than Biden. Oh my God. So they're pretty much like, got checked on their illusions and delusions. So we'll see what will happen. That's depressing for Ukraine and unnerving for surrounding countries. Daisy Lou, yes, absolutely. And it is also a beginning of something to come. If Taiwan falls, Ukraine falls, Putin will just take it as a reason to get more motivated to go further. Mind you, he's not just going to get Ukraine. He's going to get Ukraine with trained soldiers, with all the equipment that the West has now provided. And he will go into Baltic states and further. He is not going to stop at Ukraine. This is just a fact. And if somebody believes otherwise, please read history, please. So it is what it is. Now, more aid to Ukraine has been announced. Here's a statement from Anthony Blinken. As part of the surge in security assistance that President Biden announced on September 26, the United States is providing another significant package. This package is worth $500 million, and it includes counter-unmanned aerial systems, munitions, ammunition for HIMARS, 155 millimeter and 105 millimeter artillery ammunition, HARMS, which is high-speed anti-radiation missiles, unmanned aerial systems, mine-resistant ambush-protected vehicles, high-mobility multi-purpose wheeled vehicles, light tactical vehicles, chemical, biological, radiological, nuclear protective equipment that tells you what they're getting ready for, Javelin and AT-4 and anti-armor systems, tube-launched, optically guided, wire-tracked missiles, small arms ammunition, grenades and training equipment, demolition equipment, and munitions, as well as spare parts and ancillary equipment, services, training, and transportation. The United States and more than 50 nations stand united to ensure Ukraine has the capabilities it needs to defend itself against Russian aggression. That's a sentence that needs to be updated. On other news in terms of Europe, Romania and Bulgaria will join Schengen area. This is a free travel zone. So there's European Union, which is an economic union, same as NATO is a defensive alliance, or defense alliance. Schengen is part of European Union's idea, but it wasn't shared among everybody. For instance, when UK was a part of EU, they did not join Schengen. So Schengen means if I get a visa for France, if I need a visa, I can travel all across other countries that are part of Schengen area, right? And so Romania and Bulgaria joined it. This was vetoed by Austria before. Why? Because they didn't want refugees, mainly Syrian refugees, come through the Balkans to Austria, right? Through the Balkans, through Romania and Bulgaria to Austria. So now, since that, what I guesstimate, since this conflict has lifted, or at least it prompted Syrian refugees rather to return home, they lifted the veto. Hence, Romania and Bulgaria will join Schengen European free travel zone on January 1st, 2025. So also in federal court in St. Louis, Missouri, here, indicted 14 nationals from North Korea. The federal court in St. Louis indicted 14 nationals from North Korea for conspiring to violate U.S. sanctions, commit wire fraud, money laundering, and identity theft. So individuals working for DPRK controlled companies, a Chinese one and a Russian one, used false, stolen, and borrowed identities from U.S. and other individuals to hide their true identities and locations. They obtained remote information technology jobs with U.S. companies and nonprofit organizations as part of their scheme. but at least they got caught. Now, another news. Remember Modi, the leader of India, hugging President Biden and hugging Putin meanwhile and playing this double game, Um, Today, they announced that Moscow's state oil firm Rosneft will supply nearly 500,000 barrels of oil per day to Mumbai-based private refiner called Reliance, the largest ever energy deal between the two countries. 500,000 barrels per day. According to three unnamed sources who spoke with Reuters. Rosneft declined to comment, while Reliance stated that it works indeed with international suppliers based on market conditions. So that's a huge financial boost to Russia. And certainly, frozen conflict will allow for the time to pass for Russia to gain financial stability, or at least boost their financial fiasco. Now, Turkey is committing to combating disinformation and promoting strategic communication in this digital age. Per their request, I published an article on our website, and also link to it will be in your tonight's newsletter, where the spokesperson for Turkey's government explained why they're organizing this event on Saturday. Well, it will be Friday and Saturday, tomorrow and this coming Saturday, where they talk about the danger of AI. So they got together different business people, influencers, politicians, analysts, thinkers, professors who analyze what AI should not be doing. So all the countries would be informed what type of policies to pass, right, or bans to pass. And so the rapid advancement of technology, particularly in AI and algorithms, has brought both opportunities and significant challenges to society as these technologies reshape communication processes. They also blur the lines between truth and falsehood, contributing to a crisis of truth. AI tools are revolutionizing sectors such as data analysis, content creation, and crisis management, but they also present risks like the spread of disinformation, the creation of deepfakes, and the reinforcement of echo chambers, all of which exacerbate social polarization. Now, Turkey is actively addressing these issues by promoting media literacy, raising awareness about digital threats, and fostering international collaboration. So the summit will be held on December 13-14. Again, Turkey well knows how I analyze the situation in Syria. They know exactly what my coverage is, and the newsletters are. But yes, if they do something that I support, certainly this summit is something that I certainly support and look forward to learning from, I certainly will share it. So the links will be in your newsletter tonight. So take a look if that's of an interest to you, which I certainly encourage us to do. Deepfakes and AI are a thing. It's a real thing where anything I watch, literally any interview, I have to double check if it's really has been said somewhere, if that was really the person, because it's getting way better. Now, was ChatGPT from today on being integrated with Siri, anytime you ask Siri something, Google it, because maybe it certainly relies on ChatGPT. And now in the notes, if you use iPhone, you have your notes or any type of other app, ChatGPT is integrated. So now you can use it if it floats your boat or helps your business or your life in general. But again, let's stay vigilant. Daisy Lou says, what else does India have that Russia wants? Money. They want money. They want support. India is the eye in BRICS. So certainly having India's support is huge. And also India has a huge army. I mean, if anybody went to war, right, in the Indo-Pacific theater, where India stands will be a decisive factor. So for that reason, smart move on Putin's end. All right, I'm done with the news. It's a shorter segment today. Well, it's all I have, but in the morning I delivered more news. So if you missed the AM actual news section, please go ahead, watch it. I have not repeated myself, so this will just add to your knowledge about today's happenings. All right, so keep your head on a swivel. Let's stay positive. Let's stay also realistic. Let's have a peaceful night. And I do appreciate you very much. I'm going to see you tomorrow morning, which will be around I would say 9:30 a.m., 9:30 or 10, because I have a meeting at 8 in the morning, which can take a bit longer. All right. So see you tomorrow. I will let you know about the links and I will post when I go live. But please tap the bell, right? So if you're on YouTube or if you're on X still, when you go to the account, you can when you set like subscribe or whatever, you can tap notification bell, and then it will say subscribe to all or subscribe to live stream. So you can choose what to be notified about, and so then you will get an email or you will get notification if you have the YouTube. So